Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Drena Finds Out. This week, I have the honor of speaking with Dr. Yolanda Jerry. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me.
You're welcome, dear. You're welcome.
So this time, I want to talk about this week. This time of year, I seem to always find that a lot of people are dealing with grief and added stress. I know for myself, like I've lost a lot of family members around this time of year, and for others, it seems like everything just comes to like a breaking point during the holiday season, and they get into that holiday blues type thing. So, do you have any tips for people that are dealing with grief and that type of thing this time of year?
Yeah, so usually during this time of year, like you mentioned, this is the time of season where people usually get together, to celebrate and enjoy each other's company. But the truth of the matter is we also have people who have recently lost loved ones. Even in this pandemic right now, people have lost loved ones. And so they're just trying to find ways to cope. And one of the things that I know I've been able to do is just try to find ways to cope by focusing on the good things, those memories that people have had with those loved ones. And I have several tips that I usually share with people when they're thinking about, their grieving process or whether they're going through some things. If that's okay with you, I'll share all 8 of them with you if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to grief, tip number 1, I say seek out caring people. You do have those relatives and friends who understand your feelings of loss, maybe because they lost someone too as well. Join support groups with others who are experiencing the same loss, and just being around others makes the grief a little easier to bear and make you not feel alone. Tip 2, express your feelings. So just know that it's okay to cry and let the tears fall if they may. Sometimes I know I find myself, I just want to just scream, and it's okay to just scream and just let those emotions flow, because a lot of times when you bottle them up, they end up festering inside, and you don't want to blow up on anyone else. So just express your feelings and express them and let them just flow just how you want them to flow. Doing this will also help you work through that whole grieving process, because grieving is a process. You have your good days, you have your bad days or whatnot. So tip number 3, take care of your health. Your health is important. Maintain regular contact with your family doctor or physician. Make sure that you're eating well, and also make sure that you're getting plenty of rest. And also be aware of the dangers of developing dependence on medication or even alcohol. A lot of times, the New Year's coming around, people like to celebrate with alcohol. So just be mindful not to become dependent on that. And just remember that medication, if you're on medication and alcohol do not mix. All it does is just pretty much numbs the pain, and it can also cause future major medical issues. So just remember that, and just knowing that if you don't take care of yourself, then you're no good to anyone else. Tip number 4, accept that life is for the living. Even though we lost someone, we got to think about they wouldn't want us to stop living our life just because we've lost them. There's some things that we still have purpose for, and I'm a true firm believer that our family and our loved ones will want to continue to live life even though they're not here anymore. Life still goes on. Tip number 5, I always say this: post major life changes, right? Because when you're going through grieving, you still focus on, I gotta get this, I gotta get this job done, or you're thinking about having another child. And some people want to, if they're thinking about getting married, to get ready to rush into a marriage because they feel like that's going to solve everything. But the truth of the matter is, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on those different changes, those major life changes. So take time to, if you can, postpone those major life changes, so that way you can allow yourself to go through your healing journey, your healing process, just to have time to adjust to your loss. And then tip number 6, be patient and give yourself some grace. We always say God gives us grace, but we also make sure that we have to give our own self grace as well. Sometimes it can take months, even years to absorb major life loss and accept that your life is changed forever. Because when you lose somebody, the truth of the matter is that's a part of someone that was with you for so long, and now they're no longer with you. Now those things are going to be changed because of that. So tip number 7, seek outside help when necessary. And when I say seek outside help, I'm talking about a professional coach, a professional counselor, therapist. People think that if you go seek professional help that you're crazy, but the truth of the matter is it's just a sign of your strength and not your weakness. And it also shows more strength, if anything, that you're reaching out to ask for help instead of, just being alone. And lastly, tip number 8, stay in constant prayer. Cherish the memories that you have, whether it's you going through your phone and looking at pictures, whether it's you sitting there going back and reflecting on songs or food that you used to cook. Look at all of the great things that you did together. What I found is that when I start going through those motions and going through those things, even though they're not here, that loved one feels like they're still with us, even in spirit. So just remember that. Don't forget to self-care and love on you. Of course, our loved ones would want us to continue living and also carry them in our hearts. So that's pretty much it. I pretty much hope that those 8 tips kind of help a little bit about how to cope and deal with grief and not go over the, or go over the edge pretty much.
Right. Those are great tips. I think you're gonna be a big help to people. So you're a life coach. So how did you decide that that's what you wanted to do with your life?
Well, it steered me in that direction. I've always been someone who's been helping people, and just to be honest, just to be transparent, I have been a victim of domestic violence, sexual assault, and my daughter has been a victim of bullying when she was in middle school. So a lot of the things that I went through, I just basically, after I went through my healing journey, my healing process, I pretty much made it my own to try to help someone else, because there was others that was there helping me. And even when I'm talking about grief, my dad even left this world before he passed, in his last week, he spoke life into me with his words. And he was like, Yolanda, look, if I'm not here tomorrow, no matter where I am, I'm going to always be here with you. Which is a true statement, just because he's not here in the physical, he's still here with me in spirit. And so now everything that I do is because he spoke so many words into me before he left here.
Right. I think it's very important to, like you said, reflect on things like that. I oftentimes remind people, I lost my dad in 2013, and the last conversation we had, it wasn't as touching or as deep as the conversation you had with your dad, but it was a reflection of the relationship that my dad and myself had. And I constantly remember that, because I didn't think that when you think about losing somebody, you think about, they're not going to be here, those memories. But the thing I miss the most is his voice. So I always recollect back on that last time I talked to him, because, you keep pictures and all of that, but you don't think about hearing that person anymore. So to me, I always go back to that conversation, as silly as it was. I always use that to, get me through those times that I'm having tough times. So right. I think it's very interesting, a life coach. So how can people, how can they reach out to you? How can they find you? And what brings people to you, the most?
Well, I'll just tell you what brings people to me the most. The thing that brings people to me the most is because they want out, they want help. I am a voice, and I don't know if you've been paying attention or watching, just along the past few years of my journey. I'm very vocal, and I think a lot of times when people realize that they aren't alone and they know there's someone out there that's been through what they're going through currently, they're more apt to reach out to someone who's had that experience or shared that experience, so that way they can find the answers as to how can I get out, where can I get help, what are the resources. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why people are drawn to me. And just because I'm a happy person, I'm a free spirit, usually what you see on social media is what you see in real life. And as far as how people can reach out to me, I do have my website. They can reach out to me that way. I am YolandaJerry.com. And I'm on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, under the handle YJ Empowers.
I haven't met you in person, but I can tell your personality is jumping out at me through the Zoom call. And your smile is almost infectious. So yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me. And I hope that people just watching this can get the help, or even if they need to contact you in order to sit down with you one-on-one to be able to get more help. Because I think that, like you said, it does mean a lot to people when somebody is strong enough not only to overcome those type of battles, but to be able to stand firm and then reach back and help others that are going through it. That really, shows a lot about your character, shows a lot about you, who you are. And I think that that gives people hope that they can one day be like you.
Hey, not necessarily be like me, but be like out there doing the work like me. There you go.
Like you. So thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. I know it was a short time, but I really did enjoy talking to you. And maybe when COVID is over, we can meet in person.
Oh, yes. I definitely look forward to it. COVID has definitely caused us to pivot, but it ain't going to stop us from doing what we're supposed to be doing, what God called us to do.
No, definitely not. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. And have a good one.
You too.